I wasn't supposed to be there. That's the part that keeps playing in my head. If I'd gone straight home that night, if I'd ignored the gut feeling that something was off, I might have stayed blissfully ignorant a little longer. But fate had other plans. It was a Thursday evening. I had just finished a long, exhausting day at work, and all I wanted was a cold beer and my couch. My wife Jessica had told me she was going out with some girlfriends for dinner, which was nothing out of the ordinary, but something. Wasn't sitting right. She'd been distant lately. More glued to her, phone laughing at texts she never let me see, always too tired for intimacy. Maybe I was being paranoid. Maybe I was just overthinking things. But then fate stepped in. I was on my way home when I realized. I had left my work laptop at the office since I had an important meeting the next morning. I made a U-turn and headed back to grab it on the way. I passed by the Rosewood Grand Hotel, a 5-star spot downtown, the kind of place where celebrities and politicians stayed. That's when I saw her, Jessica. She was stepping out of a black SUV in a sleek red dress I had never seen before, the kind that clings in all the right places. She looked stunning, but it wasn't for me, it was for him. Some tall, well-dressed guy was right beside her, his hand on the small of her back. As they walked through the hotel's grand entrance, my heart pounded so hard, I thought I might pass out. Every rational part of me wanted to believe there was an innocent explanation. Maybe it was a business meeting, maybe it was a surprise for me. But no, deep down I already knew the truth. I parked my car across the street and sat there for a moment, gripping the steering wheel so hard. My knuckles turned white, the rage boiled inside me. But I knew causing a scene wouldn't fix anything. Instead, I pulled out my phone, took a deep breath, and followed them inside. I kept my distance as I watched them check in at the front desk. Jessica leaned into him, whispering something in his ear, her lips dangerously close to his jaw. The man chuckled and slid his credit card across the counter, felt like a punch to the gut. I pulled out my phone and started recording. She had no idea I was there. The concierge handed them a key card and they made their way to the elevator. I recorded every second of it, the way she laughed, the way he touched her waist, the way she betrayed me like I was nothing. As soon as the elevator doors closed, I stopped the recording and stared at my phone. There it was, proof my wife was cheating on me, and not just with some random guy in a sleazy motel. No, she was doing it in a luxury hotel, like it was a romantic getaway, like I didn't exist. I could have confronted her right then and there. I could have stormed up to their room and knocked the door down. But I didn't, because in that moment I realized something. If she was capable of doing this so easily, she wasn't worth my anger. No, she was worth something else. Entirely revenge. And I had the perfect idea. I drove home that night in complete silence. No music, no podcasts, just the sound of my own breathing and the dull hum of the engine. My fingers were clenched so tight around the steering wheel that my knuckles ached, but I barely felt it. Jessica was cheating on me, and I had the proof sitting in my phone. I could have confronted her the second she walked through the door. I could have shown her the video, demanded answers, screamed, fought, done what any betrayed husband would do. But I didn't, because the more I thought about it, the more I realized something. This wasn't just about me. That man, the one who took my wife up to a fancy hotel suite like she was his, he had someone too, a wife. I remembered the way the hotel receptionist had greeted him, "Welcome back, Mr. Anderson." That was all I needed, a name. And with social media, a name was enough. Took me less than an hour to find her. Her name was Lauren Anderson, and from the looks of her Instagram, she was madly in love with her husband. Photos of candid dinners, anniversary trips, heartfelt captions about forever. It may deem sick. Not because of her, she seemed like a genuinely sweet person, but because I knew the truth. Her forever was a fraud. I debated whether or not to reach out. What if she didn't believe me? What if she blamed me instead of her husband? What if this just made things worse? Then I remembered the way Jessica had laughed in that hotel lobby. How easily she had lied to my face, telling me she was out with the girls while she was busy playing house with another man. No, I couldn't let this slide. I took a deep breath and sent Lauren a message. "Hey Lauren, you don't know me, but I think we need to talk. It's about your husband." I attached the video. She saw it almost immediately. 3 little dots popped up, then disappeared. Then again, then nothing. I waited, and then finally my phone rang. I answered, and for a few seconds, there was silence. Then a shaky voice said, "Please tell me this is some kind of sick joke." I closed my eyes. I wish it was. She didn't cry. Not at first. Instead, she asked questions. Where was this? When did you see them? Are you absolutely sure? And I answered them all. I told her about the Rosewood Grand, the way they checked in together, the way her husband had touched Jessica, like they'd been together for years. By the time I was done, I could hear her trying to hold back tears. I don't know what to say. I did. They think they're getting away with it. I said, my voice steady, but they're not. Lauren sniffled. What do you mean? That's when I told her my plan instead of screaming, instead of breaking things, instead of letting them reduce us to nothing but heartbroken fools, we were going to hit them where it really hurt publicly, loudly and with a first-class ticket, too. Paradise, Lauren agreed without hesitation at first. She was in shock, voice-trembling words coming out in broken sentences. But as the reality of it sank in, that shock turned into something else, anger. The kind of deep-burning rage that only comes from realizing the person you trusted most in the world made a complete fool out of you. Lauren and I didn't know each other, but in that moment we understood each other perfectly. After talking for over an hour, she asked me one question. So what's the plan? And that's when I told her I had been saving for months to take Jessica on a luxury vacation to Aruba 5-star resort, oceanfront sweep spa treatments, the whole deal. It was supposed to be a surprise. I had the tickets, the bookings, everything. Well, Jessica wasn't going anymore. Lauren was first. She thought I was joking. You want to take me on your wife's vacation? Exactly, and post everything every single moment? The more we talked, the more the idea started to sound perfect instead of hiding in our houses, crying over two people who clearly didn't give a damn about us. We were going to flip the script. Let them be the ones sitting at home staring at their phones watching us. Live it up in paradise, and the best part, we weren't even going to tell them. We'd let social media do the work. Lauren was all in that night. I transferred the flight details to her, changed their reservation name on the hotel, and sent her the itinerary. We were flying out in 2 days. Jessica came home late that night, smelling like expensive cologne and guilt. She climbed into bed beside me, like nothing had happened, kissed my cheek, and whispered, I love you. I almost laughed. 2 days later, I stood at the airport, watching the departure screen, waiting for Lauren to arrive. I had only ever seen her through social media, but when she walked up to me, suitcase in hand, she looked completely different. Her makeup was perfect, her nails freshly done, and she was dressed in a stunning white sundress. If I didn't know any better, I would have thought she was just another excited tourist heading off for a romantic getaway. Except this wasn't about romance. This was about war. She gave me a small smile, ready to make them regret every decision they've ever made. I grinned, absolutely. Boarding the flight felt surreal. Two strangers, bound by betrayal, flying off on a dream vacation. That wasn't even supposed to be ours, but as we settled into our first class, seats champagne in hand, I realized something I wasn't thinking about. Jessica, I wasn't thinking about him. I was just thinking about the look on their faces when they saw what was coming next. The moment we landed in Aruba, I made sure to check one thing. First, Wi-Fi connection. This wasn't just a vacation. This was a broadcast. Lauren and I wasted no time. The second we checked into the resort, we snapped. The first picture, 2 champagne glasses, clinking together on a private balcony. The ocean stretching endlessly behind us. No caption, just vibes. It didn't take long for the first likes to roll in. Lauren. Despite everything was good, company we had both been through hell in the past few days. But instead of moping around, we focused on the mission. We weren't here to heal. We were here to ruin lives. And it was working. The first sign that they had seen. It came that afternoon. Lauren's phone buzzed. A message from him. Where you? No greeting, no explanation, just pure unfiltered panic. Lauren smirked and slid her phone across the table so I could see Showtime. She didn't reply. Instead, she took another sip of her cocktail and leaned back in her lounge chair as I snapped a photo of her looking effortlessly happy. Post an hour later, my phone buzzed. Jessica. Hey, where are you? I nearly left just 2 days ago. She was sneaking into a hotel with another man, and now she was suddenly concerned about where I was. I left her on read instead. I turned to Lauren, ready to kick this up a notch. She grinned. Absolutely. That night we went all out, fancy dinner, sunset walk, and the beach, pictures of us laughing over dessert, clinking glasses, soaking up every luxury I had originally planned for my wife. Lauren even played along, posting an Instagram story with a boomerang of us toasting vacation. With the best company, the comments started rolling in. Friends, family, acquaintances, everyone was watching. But the real victory came when Jessica finally snapped at around midnight. My phone blew up. Jessica? Are you in Aruba? Jessica? Who the hell is that? Woman Jessica, answer me. I took a sip of my drink and smirked. Now, she cared. Lauren's phone pinged next him. Lauren, we need to talk, she laughed. Oh, Dowie. We high-fived across the table. They wanted to talk. They wanted answers. Tough luck, we were just getting started. Jessica lost it first. By the time I woke up the next morning, my phone was flooded with messages. Jessica, I swear to God, answer me, Jessica. Are you seriously in Aruba right now with some random woman, Jessica, who is Shash, Jessica? You need to come. Home now. Oh, now. I needed to come home now. She wanted answers. I could almost hear the panic in her texts, and it was glorious. Lauren, meanwhile, was sipping a mimosa, on the balcony scrolling through her own flood of messages. Him, Lauren, please. I can explain. Him, you're being ridiculous. We need to talk him. You're acting crazy. Where are you? She snore Ed. I'm the crazy own. Oh, that's Rich. Instead of answering, she snapped a selfie, her looking effortlessly radiant, the ocean glistening behind her post. I did the same. Tossing in a shot of our breakfast, spread nothing obvious, nothing too staged, just enough to keep them guessing. That's when the real fun began. Jessica called me, I let it ring. Then she tried. FaceTime declined. Then another text, Jessica pick up the phone. And instead, I turned to Lauren, feel like going jet skiing today. She grinned absolutely. We spent the next few hours living it up, racing across the waves, laughing like we didn't have a single worry in the world. And of course, we made sure to capture every second off it, the best part we never posted. Single picture of us together, just enough to let them wonder, and oh, did they wonder. By the time we got back to the hotel, I finally gave in and answered Jessica's call just to see her squirm the second the call connected. She exploded, "Are you out of your mind? What the hell is going on?" I leaned back, completely unfazed. I'm on vacation. Her face twisted in disbelief. With who? I shrugged. Why do you care? She stammered, for a second trying to find the right words, before finally snapping. Because you're my husband. I actually left. Oh, am I funny because 2 nights ago you were checking into a hotel with someone else. Silence, she paled. I watched there. Realization hit her like a brick to the face. She knew I had seen her. I had proof. Her voice dropped. You saw, I did more than see. I let that sink in for a moment before delivering the final blow. Hope it was worth it. Enjoy your Newman. Then I hung up. Lord was watching me the whole time, and when I turned to her, she raised her glass to new beginnings. I clinked my glass against hers and better endings, and with that we left our past exactly where they belonged, in the dust. Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed the story, don't forget to leave a comment and hit the like button, share your thoughts. I'd love to hear your perspective.